If you do good work, you're gonna get poor results. You do great work, you're gonna get good results. You do extraordinary work, you're gonna get great results. Spend yourself in the for the cause, whatever you're pursuing, and you're gonna get 10,000% return. The key to survival is adapting to change. If you don't adapt, you're gonna get left behind by progress really, really quickly. So we're used to gratitude and sense of worthiness is the ultimate state of receiving. So if you want to receive something, you have to feel first very worthy of receiving. You go to work, you work over hours, you pull all-nighters, and you feel at the end of the completing a project, you feel very worthy. And then your boss looks at you and says, oh yeah, you did a great job, you work extra time, and here is the bonus for you. That's how it usually happens, how people think. If they work hard, they're gonna get paid more or they're gonna get received. But the reality is working hard is a shortcut, it's a life hack to receiving. Really, if you can train your body to have a sense of worthiness all the time without doing tough shit, you can have the same result without necessarily working hard. It works the opposite way. You can train your body to feel very worthy of receiving, and you're gonna have the same result as if you actually did the work and work extra hard. And that's why people who train for Ironman, they report, every single person I've talked to who've completed Ironman or who've climbed big mountains, they said in the months leading up to the race or to the climb, to the ascent, the training months, when they were working the hardest, exercising and training the hardest, they had the best performance in their business or in their job, and they had the higher sales numbers if they're in sales. When you're training hard, at the end of your training, it's maybe 2 hours, 3 hours a day, you feel very, very worthy. You feel like you did a good job. Then you go back to your work, and because you feel worthy that you did something, you're proud of yourself, naturally things come to you easier because you feel worthy of receiving. The same thing accomplishing a project or writing a book or whatever it may be. But the reality is that you can train your body to feel that state, the condition that where you feel worthy, and have the same result where things just gonna flow to you. Doing extraordinary work. Look, there is a lot of competition at the ordinary level. There is almost none at the extraordinary. If you do good work, you're gonna get poor results. You do great work, you're gonna get good results. You do extraordinary work, you're gonna get great results. And oftentimes the difference between extraordinary and everyone else, like if you look at Olympic athletes, the difference between the guy number 1, the gold medalist, and guy number 11, you never hear about, usually it's like a split of a second, right, or a couple of seconds apart. And if you look between number 1 and number 2 and number 3 guy, it's literally like hundreds of seconds difference in their performance. Here's how it works. You put 90% of yourself into something and you're gonna get okay results, maybe 10% results. You put 100% of yourself in something, spend yourself in that worthy cause, whatever you're pursuing, and you're gonna get 10,000% return. 90% and your results only 10. 100% of yourself and your results at 10,000%. That's the difference. Whatever the worthy cause you're pursuing, as Walt Whitman said, the powerful play moves on and you may contribute to a verse. Whatever that verse, whatever that worthy cause, spend yourself in the worthy cause, as Teddy Roosevelt said, so that your place will never be among cold, timid souls who know neither victory or defeat. And you're gonna get extraordinary 10,000% return on your investment. The key to survival is adapting to change. If you look at all the Fortune 500 companies who were around in 1980s, what happened? They were multi-billion-dollar corporations. How could they have screwed up so bad that they're not around? More than 480 out of the 500 don't exist, like Kodak, right? Or Nokia, or I don't know, BlackBerry. It's because they failed to adapt to change. Kodak controlled like 90% of the photography market, but when the phones started rolling out with digital cameras, they failed to adapt. They thought they were invincible. So that's why it's important to constantly grow and learn, constantly adapt, because what got you here is not gonna get you there. The brain has neuroplasticity functions to it, so luckily, so that's why if we constantly feed it with information and learn and adapt to new ways of doing things, we can survive. If you gonna continue to do old school fashion, and some people are old school, but they're just gonna become obsolete eventually. And right now we have a lot of changes. I'm struggling to keep up with it myself because the new changes, like with AI or ChatGPT, it's easy to say like, oh, I'm doing things old school, I'm not gonna use those technologies or the Bitcoin or digital currency. If you don't adapt, you're gonna get left behind by progress really, really quickly. So you better, any new technology that's coming out, you better get yourself up to speed on it quicker. I still know people who don't use email. It's a reality. I remember when email was coming out in the early 2000s, and some people say like, oh, I'll never use email, I prefer face-to-face communication. That's great, but the reality of the world we live in, imagine those people now who never learned how to use email in the early 2000s. How are they doing now? Their productivity is a fraction of what it could have been had they learned it timely when it was coming out. I think the same thing. As much as people afraid of digital currencies or AI or ChatGPT, it's inevitable. It's already here, it's gonna happen. And the faster you learn, the better off you're gonna be to adapt to those changes that are coming.